we're doing a video about the top 5 biggest whiskey taboos. People who are really into whiskey, they're enthusiastic, they love whiskey. What are the things that kind of make them cringe or uncomfortable? Things that they just not really the things you talk about in polite whiskey company.
Or things that are avoided in whiskey company.
Yeah, so...
You want some Johnny Walker Ghost and Rare?
Don't ask stupid questions. So we asked our tribe, tribe of thousands of members, all whiskey lovers, what are the biggest taboos to you? And we counted up the votes. So we're gonna go through them in order.
What do you think about that?
Oh, we got, what is that, little Johnny Walker?
Johnny Walker Ghost and Rare.
Ghost and Rare.
Thanks to Bradley Clark.
Okay, all right, what's the first taboo?
The first taboo is mixing expensive or fancy whiskeys. You know what would make that Johnny Walker Ghost and Rare even more tasty? Here, I'll trade you.
People are on different ends of the spectrum here. Some people, you don't add anything to whiskey ever. You don't add ice because it dulls the flavor of the whiskey. You certainly never add soda. You certainly never mix it with other types of weird funky things.
For most people, no matter how it's verbalized, it's coming from a place of giving a shit about whiskey.
Right.
Right? You care. They care so much. They care so much, they even care how other people are experiencing it.
Yes.
And so it's sort of like, okay, imagine if you fell in love with a really amazing band, and then someone was like, oh, I'll check out that band, and then the next time you saw them, they were listening to it on laptop speakers, right? And you're like, no!
You're not getting the full
you're not
effect.
getting the full experience. You gotta have it, here, come sit in my car.
Right.
Okay, so it comes from a good place. It comes from someone who's serious about whiskey.
From a place of enthusiasm.
Very passionate,
right?
And they want you to, and everyone to experience what the distillery created and what they consider to be its purest form.
Right.
Those people will usually still be okay with adding drops of water and things.
And from their perspective, they often think
they think they're helping.
They think they're helping. But in our tribe, we have a very specific rule.
That's right.
What is the rule?
There's only one definition of good whiskey, and that is whiskey you like to drink. And there's only one correct way to drink whiskey, and that's however the fuck you prefer.
Right.
That's it, right?
So
we're making a pretty dramatic point with the $300 whiskey and
Coke
and ice, but
yeah.
And so now we will regularly ball bust our friends for doing inappropriate things to whiskey,
right?
Or things we're like, dude. But that's hassling.
So yes, that's hassling. Good-natured
So
ball
what's
busting.
the line? Because most of our people are hanging out in the YouTube comments and on Facebook,
right?
Where all interaction is happening through text.
For me, it's crystal clear. For me, whenever I'm going to give an opinion about what somebody's drinking, but the way that I'm saying it, whenever I say this thing to the person, will they like me more or less?
Yeah.
Right?
Is their experience improved or made worse by your interaction with them?
Because
just ask yourself that.
You can absolutely, steer people that want to be steered. They're looking for that guidance. Yeah. But if somebody's not looking for your opinion,
they just want to drink what they like.
Right. You know what?
Maybe fuck off.
If somebody's giving unsolicited advice, it doesn't make them a consultant. It just makes them an asshole.
Yeah, totally. Totally. That was a Thoreau that said, when I see someone coming towards me with my best interests at heart, I run as quick as possible in the opposite direction.
Yes.
Right? Now, on the other hand, our community is full of good-natured ball busters.
Yes, and that's really where I want to thread the needle.
You cannot get butt hurt.
Because one thing I don't want to do is have a community that is so worried about not offending people. They never can just relax and let loose because whiskey is happening here. Right? We want to relax and want to have fun. At the same time, we don't want people being so sloppy that they're just giving really obnoxious opinions and
think about it like
without
this.
Considering, hey, am I being a dick?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next taboo?
The next thing is people who drink just to get drunk.
All chug,
this is people.
no love.
Yeah, all chug, no love.
Yeah.
This is people for whom the destination is the only thing they give a shit about. They don't care about the journey.
Right.
Otherwise known as fraternity drinking or pledge drinking.
This is shooting alcohol.
Yeah.
This is just throwing it back. And I think for a lot of whiskey enthusiasts, whiskey lovers, this is a big deal. Again, because they know how much went into that whiskey. And there's a couple different facets to this. One is there's zero chance for you to really be able to enjoy that whiskey the way it was meant to be enjoyed if you're just throwing it down.
Right.
The other part of this actually has to do with a little bit of, there's some danger involved whenever you're just throwing them down hard and fast.
Well, for one, if you go chugging beer, you can get pretty wasted. But if you do the same speed and similar quantities in whiskey, you die.
Even smaller quantities.
Even smaller quantities. You die or you end up in the hospital having your stomach pumped, right? It's just not on the same level. And two, you can actually cause a lot more liver damage.
Yeah.
By high-speed whiskey intake.
Your body doesn't have enough time.
Yes, it's a serious fucking thing. Now, we've all had days where you come home and you're like, dude, I just, everyone shut up for a second. I just need a drink. You pour a small shot of whiskey, not on a giant glass. You throw it down, you set it down, you stand up, you take a deep breath and you go, okay, now what do you all want, right? If that's like, you know, right before breakfast, or like all 3 meals, or every single night.
Are you bad-mouthing my breakfast whiskeys?
Yes, I am totally bad-mouthing your breakfast whiskeys.
So, actually, number 4 and 5, kind of a similar thing going on here. A lot of people mix together a lot of sweet things into shots, so you can throw them back really quick.
You don't feel the burn, you don't feel anything. Now, ironically, most mixed drinks have a lower alcohol content. When it comes to those kinds, like flavored shots and things like that.
Right.
If you actually do the math on the alcohol content, it's probably more in the 35 to 40 range.
Sure. Which is still considerable.
But that's still 4 times beer. Right? Or 5 times beer.
Right. There's actually a study done fairly recently talking about how alcohol can have some heart-healthy benefits. Yay! That's all negated whenever you're doing shots.
Yeah.
Your body, it just can't handle it. It's too much, too fast, and you're doing more harm than good.
What happens when you start watching daily whiskey shows, get excited about whiskey, and then start shopping more?
Yes. The number 3 taboo
Number 3.
that he's alluding to is the financial responsibility that you need to keep an eye on whenever you are getting really enthusiastic and excited about whiskey, because it, you know, even $25 for a cheap budget bottle. I get it. Anybody that's getting into not just whiskey, but any kind of
obsession.
Any kind of obsession at all, it's easy to get so enthusiastic and throw caution to the wind that you're spending way more money than you probably should be paying. And we've seen this evidenced by...
We took a poll on Facebook and we asked people, just guess a number within $500 or $100 or so,
right,
of how much money you think you spent on whiskey because of watching us, in addition to your normal spending.
Specifically attributed to the review show we do on a different channel.
And the last count, we were over $300,000,
right,
and less than 1,000 people had contributed.
Right. So
we have 5,000 people in the Whiskey Tribe.
Right.
20,000, however many thousand for Whiskey Biscuits.
Right.
We got 71,000 for
So we got like
the vault.
86,000 subscribers with some overlap.
Yeah. And only 1,000 people commented on this poll.
Right on the 86. So,
and we still almost hit $500,000.
So conservatively, there's millions and millions of dollars being spent.
I'm just saying.
And the reason why we're talking about it, because it was listed as one of the top taboos. So it's one of those things where, like, hey, if your partner is telling you to pump the brakes a little bit,
then pump the fucking brakes.
Yeah, listen to him. It may be something you need to do. Now, I will say this about financial impact, and we've said this time and time and time again on the show. There is absolutely a point of diminishing returns in terms of quality. If you're getting to like, for me the number is like $80. And then after that, you can spend a lot more and you're not gonna get much more quality. So even down to like $25, $25 to $50, which is fairly low for a whiskey, you can have some amazing whiskeys.
Yeah.
What are some, it says, if people want to be able to try out some new whiskeys to expand their horizons, bars, yeah.
Or find other whiskey friends.
Yes.
And you buy different things.
Yeah, one of the things.
So when you go to their house, you try one thing. When they come to your house, they try a different thing.
Absolutely.
This is maybe the #1 taboo and the first thing that will get you kicked out faster than anything.
In our group.
Almost anything.
In our group.
In our group.
Right.
That is being an outright whiskey snob, or trying to prove to other people you know more than them, you're better than them, you have better taste than them.
It's
put them in their place.
Right. So one of the things that is not acceptable is whenever somebody posts something, they got it, they're excited about it, and then somebody that's much more experienced, they come along and say, hey, that's cute, check out this bottle. It's like more expensive and more impressive. Like, you're fucking done.
Yeah, fuck you. No, so I always teach this in the school, which is a short thing to remember.
Right.
I break the world when it comes to knowing things. I break the world into 2 categories. People who view knowledge as a way to stand on a pedestal and prove that they know more or are better than you.
Yeah.
To put themselves above everyone around them.
To demean others and elevate yourself.
Or people who view knowledge as a way to open the door for everybody around them.
Right, to share and connect.
And that's the definition of a good sommelier.
Right.
A good sommelier uses his knowledge to open doors and reward what you know already.
Sure. The thing with snobbery is that it is insidious. And it's one of those things where, again, a person sees themselves as the defender of high standards, the defender of correctness. And somebody who wants to help other people around them understand the right way and the correct way to enjoy their beverage.
Yeah.
It turns so many people off, and they feel like whiskey is stuffy and inaccessible and too complicated, and they don't have the time.
And it's always because it's unsolicited.
Unsolicited advice.
Because the time to give that information that you know
Right.
is when someone asks you for it.
Yeah.
That's the time. And that's when you're no longer being a snob.
Yeah.
If someone says, am I supposed to add water to whiskey?
Right.
Hey, the doors just got open, my friend.
Open season.
Yeah. Now, you don't say, yes, of course, you idiot, unless you're Jimmy Leg. Right?
That's our token whiskey snob, by the way.
Yeah, we just need
have
him to
one.
actually own it.
We have one that we keep around so people can see what a whiskey snob looks like.
Because he's our whiskey snob.
He's our pet.
Yeah. Now, the final one we're going to talk about
Yes, now the final one.
is the most uncomfortable conversation to have in person with someone against their will.
The final, by far, I think it had double the number of votes as the blatant whiskey snobbery
Yeah,
taboo,
the next
number
one.
2. And this was alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
The number 1 taboo for whiskey drinkers, whiskey enthusiasts, people in our whiskey tribe. And
I have a thing I want to start off with here.
yeah,
If you're in the tribe, then you're a magnificent bastard. If you, for any reason, have to stop drinking,
yeah,
you're not out of the tribe.
yeah.
This is still your tribe. We are still your people.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like about our group is we'll have people in the YouTube comments, in the Facebook group say, yeah, I don't drink whiskey at all. This is just fun.
I just still watch the show.
to see you guys be ridiculous and enjoy something so enthusiastically. But with that enthusiasm, again, the same way that snobbery can be insidious and it's a slippery slope, alcohol abuse it's not like binary, I'm fine, and then boom, all of a sudden.
It is really a scale.
Yeah. Daniel and I have been having conversations for a couple of weeks now. Months, actually.
Yeah, dating back to Thanksgiving.
And we've been talking with admins, we've been talking with people in our world about the best way to approach this topic of alcohol abuse. And my grandfather was an alcoholic. Some really high profile engaged members of the tribe have parents that were alcoholics. They know people that have died from alcohol abuse.
Yeah, my cousin was killed in a drunk driving accident at 14 because a drunk guy driver rear-ended them.
You've had a couple of conversations with people.
Yeah, so one of the friends and major donors of the Wizard Academy also owns and has founded a company called Change Company, when it's doing amazing work in recovery. So I called them about this episode.
Right.
So here's the short version. The short version is we're going to link an article in the description of this video, and maybe we can put it in the
In the group.
In the group.
In the next newsletter.
Yeah, so you'll see this article. It's an NPR article about alcohol abuse and alcohol addiction.
Right.
And in there it's got some questions you can ask yourself, things you can walk through. It also has links to resources to get help and things like that. There's 4 categories that they sort of generally refer to in alcohol use in general, right? Level 1 is use. You drink it. It's not all the time, it's not constantly, but you drink it like anybody would drink with dinner or when you're out or whatever.
That's basically where Daniel and I are right now.
Yeah. Misuse, which means, misuse is not abuse, it's just periodic overindulgence.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, I went out with friends last night because we're celebrating.
Got a little out of hand.
It got a little ahead of me. I woke up hungover, or I woke up with a headache, or I feel like shit. But misuse is not habitual. It's sporadic and situational.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just something that's like, okay, this is why I have an Austin Police Department breathalyzer in my office. Now, the next one is alcohol abuse, which is now it's a real problem. It's causing life problems, job loss, relational problems,
financial,
loss of time. Major problems.
It's screwing up your life.
But you aren't necessarily addicted.
Right.
Right? Although the line between that and addiction is almost invisible. Right? But you could stop, and very often, she said, those people are trying to use alcohol to solve other problems in their life.
Right.
Right.
So it's not alcoholism in terms of, well, genetically I'm predisposed to have a condition that makes me addicted to alcohol. It's like, no, you're just
it's an emotional
going back to this substance time and time again to dull off the rough edges of something in your life.
Yeah. And the final one is actual alcohol addiction. Alcoholism.
Yeah.
And that is, even when you finally become aware of it, you're not you can't stop on your own. Right? It's not like you can just have one drink and quit. There's no such thing.
Right.
Totally. And most of those people don't consider themselves alcoholics until their life is in such shambles they're forced to.
Right. Yeah, so it's definitely something where I get it's a taboo, not just in this video, but in the coming days, weeks, months, and years for our group as a regular, reoccurring part of just the way we do whiskey. One of the things we're going to start to do, it's a quarterly challenge.
Yeah, quarterly challenge.
Quarterly challenge.
Prohibition. We're going to recreate Prohibition.
Once a quarter, we're going to take a week off from drinking.
Yeah.
And we're going to, if it's the review show, we're going to review other whiskey, other non-whiskey things. It's a week of quality control for your life.
Yeah.
And this, don't wait on us if you think there's a problem, right?
Yeah. Well, I would stop, but we haven't done the weekly sobriety quarter.
Right, no, that's coming up in a month or two. I'll just wait for that.
Until then.
But anybody that wants to, just take a break every once in a while. Check in. So we're going to be doing updates for when our first quarterly challenge is coming up, and we're going to have some incentives. And obviously, we're not talking about this to be lecturing. I mean, hell, we have the fastest growing and the second largest whiskey channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
But that makes us even more aware and serious about making sure it doesn't become a problem.
Absolutely.
In our lives, and the bigger this community got, we both have this moment where it's like, oh shit, it's not just us.
Are we enablers?
So, and here's the thing, we have like a daily show and a review show. And anybody that's throwing them back fast and heavy with us on a daily basis, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, dude.
There's lots of other things to partake in.
If you drink 4 or a couple of whiskeys for every time we do a sample,
Right.
You're drinking about 4 times as much as me and Rex.
So, the thing you definitely want to check out and read is this NPR article that he mentioned. It's in the description below. Also, another whiskey channel that did a really great, balanced, practical advice video is Ralphie. So we're going to link this in a card right up here to get his take on it, because he has been around whiskey for years.
Yo.
So where are we?
We can't get into our own distillery.
It's all taped up.
I know, it's because it's sprinkling and it's supposed to rain more tomorrow. And so they covered all of the raw wood doors and windows with plastic.
At this point in the video, I would usually pull out some kind of shenanigan. Here's the thing though, the shenanigan that I had planned involved saran wrap and a man bun. It's
I'm really glad I avoided it.
it's currently in this bag.
Oh, yeah.
It felt a little tone deaf at the end of the video talking about
It was kind of more of a serious video.
It's a serious video, and I think it's an important one. And that shenanigan was also going to be a reveal for our newest piece of merch, which would have definitely been tone deaf.
Yeah. Here's all this really heavy stuff. Give us money.
Yeah, heavy, but also hopefully it was practical and helpful for you guys.
Yeah.
So anybody that gets the Whiskey Tribe newsletter knows what the new piece of merch is. I'm not gonna pull it out on the show, and we're gonna toast our way out with,
Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal lovers' hearts.
If you drink, may you drink responsibly with
And
us.
with us.